Learn how to create lifelike objects in Illustrator by applying 3D effects, lighting, and materials sourced from Adobe Substance. You can apply 3D effects, lighting, and material to 2D vector graphics with realistic textures viewed under different lighting scenarios. You can then render them with ray tracing to create realistic 3D graphics with ease. Read on to learn how to recreate a sample vector art with 3D effects as shown in this design sample. 3 steps to create a 3D artwork. Get started by drawing your favorite art on paper, trace it into Illustrator, apply 3D effects like extrude, rotation, and substance materials. Provide finishing touches to your design with appropriate lighting and shadow effects and then render your artwork with ease. Create a vector art. You can convert the image of a pencil sketch that was drawn on paper into vector art using image trace. Draw your favorite art on a piece of paper. For example, floral letters. Import the raster image into Illustrator using File Place in a document. Choose Object Image Trace Make to trace the image with default options. Apply 3D effects to the artwork. Before you start applying 3D effects to the vector artwork, explore Object, Materials, or Lighting. Options and presets available in the 3D and Materials panel. The 3D and Materials panel appears when you click Window 3D and Materials. Object A. Plane. Flattens object onto the plane. A. Extrude. Extends a 2D object to add depth. A. Revolve. Sweeps a path or profile in a circular direction. A. Inflate. Inflates the flat object. B. Depth. Sets the depth of the object from 0 through 2000. C. Twist. Twists the object up to 360 degrees. D. Taper. Tapers the object from 100% through 1%. E. Cap. Specifies whether the object appears solid or hollow. F. Bevel. Applies beveled edge along the object's depth. G. Presets. Applies rotation presets based on direction, axis, and isometrics. H. Vertical rotation. Rotates object vertically from -180 degrees to 180 degrees. I. Horizontal rotation. Rotates object horizontally from -180 degrees to 180 degrees. J. Circular rotation. Rotates object in a circle from -180 degrees to 180 degrees. K. Perspective. Changes the object's perspective from 0 degrees through 160 degrees. Materials. A. Base materials. Applies default preset material. B. Adobe Substance materials. Enables you to apply some of the Adobe Substance materials. C. Substance 3D assets. Adds materials from Adobe Substance assets. D. Substance community assets. Adds materials from Adobe Substance community. E. Add new materials and graphic. Add materials adds your own new materials to the panel. Add graphics add artwork as graphic. You can use graphics to map artwork over 3D objects. F. Material properties. Applies roughness and metallic properties from 0 through 1 for basic materials. Properties vary for each of the Adobe Substance materials. Lighting. A. Presets. Applies pre-configured lighting effects like standard, diffuse, top left, or right quickly to your artwork. B. Lighting widget. Allows you to drag light sources to adjust their lighting angles. C. Light source. Multiple light sources illuminate the 3D object better. D. Move selected light to back/front of object. Moves the selected light to the back of the object when in front and vice versa. E. Intensity. Changes the selected light's brightness from 0% through 100%. F. Rotation. Rotates the focus of light around the object with a value from -180 degrees through 180. G. Height. Brings the light closer to the object if it's lower, causing a short shadow, and conversely from 0 degrees through 90 degrees. H. Softness. Determines how the light spreads. Overrides the diffuse preset with a value from 0% through 100%. I. Ambient light intensity. Controls the global lighting intensity with a value from 0% to 200%. J. Shadows. Applies shadows to your artwork when the toggle button is on. K. Position. Applies shadow either behind object or below object. L. Distance from object. Adjusts the distance of the shadow from the object with a value from 0% through 100%. M. Shadow bounds. Applies shadows boundary with a value from 0% through 200%. Apply extrude, materials, lighting, and shadow effects. Now that you have explored all the available 3D effects and materials options in the section above, you can apply extrude and rotation, Adobe Substance materials, and lighting, intensity, and shadows effects to the imported vector artwork. Be familiar with these limitations and error messages before you start applying 3D effects. If ray tracing is enabled, you will experience lag depending upon the complexity or size of the object. For objects with complex paths, 3D effects are applied partially. 3D effects are not supported on all object types. For example, raster images or single anchor point objects. Extrude and rotation. Select the artwork created using Create Vector Art. Click Effect 3D Extrude and Bevel. 3D and Materials panel appears. Set depth, twist, and taper. Select rotation presets off-axis, front, and set x-axis and y-axis values to any appropriate value from 0 degrees through 360 degrees. Rotation and perspective. You can also set the rotation of an object and the perspective from which you view it. To adjust the perspective, select a value within a range of 0 to 160 in the 3D and Materials Object 3D Type Perspective slider. A smaller angle is similar to a telephoto camera lens. A larger lens angle is similar to a wide-angle camera lens. Adobe Substance materials. After applying extrude effects to the vector artwork, you can now learn how to apply 3D materials. Select the vector artwork after applying extrude effects on it. Select materials from the 3D effects panel. Choose material from the list or add your own material by clicking icon. You can either add your own material or choose from the free community and Adobe materials. You can also add thousands of Adobe Substance 3D materials with a subscription plan. Click Material Properties to apply parameters or change position, channels, and filters. Lighting, intensity, and shadows. After applying materials to your 3D object, you can add lighting and shadow to it. Select lighting in the 3D and materials panel. Do one of the following to add lighting. Single light, choose a default preset like standard, diffuse, top left, or right. To adjust the angle of the light, drag the light within the lighting widget or use the rotation and height sliders. Multiple lights, used to add up to 10 lights. To adjust the angle of the lights, drag them within the lighting widget or select a light on the list and use the rotation and height sliders. Select Move selected light to back of object to position the light behind the object. Adjust the color, intensity, and softness if required. If there are multiple lights, select a light on the list to adjust its color, intensity, and softness. Select ambient light intensity and set a value from 0 through 200%. Select the Shadows toggle button to apply a shadow. You can use parameters like position, distance from the object, and shadow bounds to customize a shadow effect. Even if you have added multiple lights and enabled shadows, you will see only one shadow in real-time preview. To see the shadows of all the lights, switch to Render with Ray Tracing. Render the artwork. After applying the 3D effects to the vector art, you can use Render with Ray Tracing to create realistic 3D graphic artwork more efficiently and better. Ray tracing enables you to create realistic 3D graphics by tracing the path of light rays as they bounce over the object. To enable/disable ray tracing in Render, select Render with Ray Tracing in the upper right corner of the 3D and Materials panel. Ray Tracing Settings. You can also change quality, noise, and raster options for ray tracing. Select Render Settings in the upper right corner of the 3D and Materials panel. Select the Ray Tracing toggle button to enable/disable it. You can also change the resolution, color, and background for the raster image by selecting Raster Settings. Select Quality as High and click Render to get one of the industry's optimal quality renderings of your artwork. Refer to some of the best practices on how to optimize CPU usage while you render the artwork. Export 3D objects. You can export 3D objects to GLTF and USD file formats and open them in other 3D applications to further edit and enhance 3D objects and 3D objects with materials and graphics. Illustrator also supports exporting 3D objects as OBJ files along with colors. When you export multiple objects, you can view each object as an independent modifiable object. Follow the steps to export 3D objects. In the 3D and Materials panel, select Export 3D Objects. In the Asset Export panel, select the 3D asset and select GLTF, USD, or OBJ from the Format drop-down list. Select Export.